This is a little something from The Whore of Mensa by Woody Allen. One thing about being a private investigator, you've got to learn to go with your hunches. That's why when a quivering pat of butter named Wirt Babcock walked into my office, I should have trusted the cold chill that shut up my spine.
Kaiser Lupowitz.
That's what it says on my license.
You gotta help me. I'm being blackmailed, please.
He was shaking like a lead singer in a rumba band. I pushed a glass across the desktop and a bottle of rye I keep handy for non-medicinal purposes. Suppose you relax and tell me all about it.
I'm a working guy. Mechanical maintenance. I build and service joy buzzers. You know, those fun little gimmicks that give people a shock when they shake hands.
Get to the point.
I'm on the road a lot. You know how it is. Lonely. Oh, no, not what you're thinking. You see, Kaiser, I'm basically an intellectual. Sure, a guy can meet all the bimbos he wants, but they're really brainy women. They're hard to come by on short notice.
Keep talking.
I love my wife, don't get me wrong, but she won't discuss pound with me. Dor Elliott. I didn't know that when I married her. You see, Kaiser, I need a woman who's mentally stimulating, and I'm willing to pay for it. I don't want an involvement, I want a quick intellectual experience, and then I want the girl to leave. Christ, Kaiser, I'm a happily married man.
Go on.
Well, I heard of this girl, 18 years old, a Vassar student. For a price, she'll come over and discuss any subject. Proust, Yeats, anthropology, exchange of ideas. You see what I'm driving at?
Not exactly. How long has this been going on?
About 6 months. Every time I get that craving, I call Flossie. She's a madam with a master's in comparative lit. She sends me over an intellectual, see?
So he was one of those guys whose thing was really bright women. I felt sorry for the poor sap. I figured there must be a lot of jokers in his position who are starved for a little intellectual communication with the opposite sex and would pay through the nose for it.
Now she's starting to tell my wife.
Who is?
Flossie. They bugged the motel room. They've got tapes of me discussing the wasteland and styles of radical will and, well,
Really getting into some issues.
10 grand or they go to Carla.
Get Flossie on the phone for me.
What?
I'll take your case word, but I get $50 a day, plus expenses.
It won't be 10 G's worth, I'm sure of that.
He picked up the phone and dialed a number. Seconds later, a silky voice answered. And I told her what was on my mind. I understand you could set me up a good hour of chat.
Sure, hon. What did you have in mind?
I'd like to discuss Melville.
Moby Dick? Or short novels?
What's the difference?
The price, that's all. Symbolism's extra.
The dough's fine.
You want a blonde or a brunette?
Surprise me, I said and hung up. Hardly an hour had passed before there was a knock on my door. I opened it, and standing there was a young redhead who was packed into her slacks like 2 big scoops of vanilla ice cream.
Hi, I'm Sherry.
They really knew how to appeal to your fantasies. Long, straight hair, leather bags, silver earrings, no makeup. Shall we begin? I said, motioning her to the couch. She lit a cigarette and got right to it.
I think we could start by approaching Billy Budd is Melville's justification of God to man. N'est-ce pas?
Interestingly, though not in a Miltonian sense, I was bluffing. I wanted to see if she'd go for it.
No. Paradise Lost lacked the substructure of pessimism.
She did. Right. Right. God, you're right.
I think Melville reaffirmed the virtues of innocence in a naive yet sophisticated sense. Wouldn't you agree?
I let her go on. She was barely 19 years old, and already she had developed to the hardened facility of the pseudo-intellectual. She rattled off her ideas glibly, but it was all mechanical. Every time I offered an insight, she faked a response.
Oh, yes. Yes. Kaiser, baby. That's deep. A Platonic comprehension of Christianity. Why didn't I see it before?
We talked for about an hour, and then she said she had to go. She got up, and I laid a C-note on her.
Thanks, honey.
There's plenty more where that came from.
What you tried to say?
Suppose I wanted to have a party.
Like, what kind of party?
Suppose I wanted Noam Chomsky explained to me by two girls.
You'll have to speak with Flossie. It'll cost you.
Now was the time to tighten the screws. I flashed her my private investigator's badge and informed her it was a bust.
What?
I'm full, sugar. Discussing Melville for money is an 802. You can do time.
You louse!
Better come clean, Sherry, baby. Unless you want to tell your story down at Alfred Kazan's office. And I don't think he'd be too happy to hear about it. It all came out. The whole story. Central Park West upbringing, socialist summer camps. She was every dame you'd see standing in line at the Guggenheim, or penciling the words, "Yes, very true," into the margin of some book on Kant. Only somewhere down the line, she'd made a wrong turn.
I needed cash. A girlfriend said she knew a man whose wife wasn't very profound. He was into Blake, and she couldn't hack it. I said, sure, for a price I'd talk Blake with him. I was nervous at first. I faked a lot of it. But he didn't care. My girlfriend said that there were others. Oh, please don't turn me in, Kaiser, please.
Then take me to Flossie.
The Hunter College bookstore is the front.
Keep talking.
Like those bookie joints with barbershops outside for show. You'll see.
I made a quick call to headquarters and then said to her, "All right, sugar, you're off the hook, but don't leave town." I walked into the Hunter College bookstore. The salesman, a sensitive man, came up to me. I fixed him with a look. Sherry sent me. He pushed a button, and a wall of books opened, and I walked like a lamb into that bustling pleasure palace known as Flossie's. Pale, nervous girls lolled around on sofas, reading Penguin classics. Provocatively. For $50 I learned you could relate without getting close. For 100, a girl would lend you her Bartok records, have dinner, and then let you watch while she had an anxiety attack. For 200, you got the works. You could listen to NPR radio. With twins. Nice racket. Great town, New York.
Like what you see.
A voice said behind me. I turned and suddenly found myself face to face with the business end of a 38. It was Flossie, all right. The voice was the same. But Flossie was a man.
Quickly, before he could tighten his finger on the trigger, I went into action. Heaving forward, I snapped my elbow across his jaw, kneed him in the gut, and sucked him right in the nose. Wha-poo-pa!
He went down like a ton of bricks. He was still whimpering when the police showed up. Later that evening, I looked up an old account of mine named Gloria. She was blonde. She had graduated cum laude. The only difference was she majored in physical education. It felt good.